Joining me now is National Senator Bridget McKenzie. Senator McKenzie, great to see you as we do every week. Hard act to follow though. Yesterday we had Cole Boyce. He called a spill. Hard act to follow for you today.
What an
Keep the viewers interested.
Kieran. Yeah. Sorry, folks. If you're watching on at home, there will be no exclusive in this interview.
No spill to be called. All right. So give me your sense about Cole Boyce. And for our viewers who don't know him, he's actually quite, he's a very accomplished person in terms of what he's achieved before coming into Parliament. Maybe a firebrand, maybe, you could describe him however you want, but he's done a lot outside of Parliament and he's got his views when it comes to the Nats, doesn't he? Very firm views.
Yeah, absolutely, Kieran. Well, Collins has come to politics from a very successful career in the private sector. He's been in state parliament in Queensland. He's won and held the seat of Flynn in central Queensland, where he actually achieved a 6% swing to him, despite the disastrous result at the last federal election for the coalition more broadly. So Colin knows what he's doing when it comes to speaking up for his people, and he's exercising his right, obviously, in a democratic room like ours, to say he has some issues with how things have been handled and he's calling a spill. But as you and I know, in these types of situations, usually you'd sound out your colleagues before you announce that on Kieran Gilbert Sky. That wasn't done. This has come as a complete surprise and has been widely reported will fail come next week. So that's where it's at. Colin also did the right thing last week, despite not being in our party room for the discussions that we had around Labor's unfair gun laws and their rushed hate speech laws. He voted against both of those bills with us. So, I think at a principle level, we agree on those issues, but he's obviously taking this action and the room will make its decision.
Yes, indeed. But you think David Littleproud is comfortable in terms of the support of the room? He's got there's no realistic rival to him?
Well, I think what our room is after last week is incredibly united. We took a principled approach to both the unfair gun laws and the hate speech laws, which we know are rushed and will have unintended consequences on the freedoms of everyday Australians. We did the right thing, stood up for that. There were consequences for that decision that we've all been prepared to pay, and now we're going to get on with holding the Labor Party to account and standing up for our constituents, which is our job. So the party room is very united given our actions last week, and they were actions that our leader facilitated. So yes.
Are you worried that this is a precursor to another defection? Cole Boyce is adamant he's not going to go to One Nation. He says he's got great respect for Pauline Hanson and James Ashby and others, but he's not going to go there. Are you worried, though, that this might be, if he doesn't get the respect of the party room and sufficient consideration to his concerns, that he'll walk?
I don't think so. I think Colin is a man of his word. And so if he says he's not defecting, I believe him. The fact is our party room is one of the most democratic party rooms in Parliament. Everyone has their say, everyone's an equal, and we come to collective decisions and we've got each other's back. And we demonstrated that en masse last week, what the National Party is all about. And Colin absolutely subscribes to that. So I'd be very disappointed if he left, because he is a man of his word and he's made it very clear that he won't be defecting to One Nation.
One of the points he made to me on the program was that just in terms of the logistics, in terms of the National Party with the Liberals, you've got a better chance electorally, whether it be in terms of entitlements, the ability to get around and campaign, or for example, yourself in Victoria as a senator, to win a quota on your own right is very different to winning as a part of a coalition. Do you recognise that you need to get back together before the next election if you're a chance to hold on to your Senate spot?
Well, Kieran, if we got into politics to feather our own nests and to act in selfish interests rather than in the national interest or the interests of our communities, we're absolute traitors to being parliamentarians. And I think one of the great strengths of the National Party brand over the century that we've been representing people in Canberra is that our people know we will stand up and fight for them. We will deliver things when we can, and we will always stand on principle. And that is an important part of who we are, and we're able to demonstrate that. So if you're asking me if we're going to trade that in for the white cars, the larger salaries, the answer is no. We're going to stand on our principles, and nothing has changed. So irrespective of what the Liberal Party chooses to do about their own leadership situation today, next week, in 6 months' time, we're going to continue to make decisions in the national interest, which is what we did last week. And I can tell you, Kieran, as I did last week when we spoke, our room only had concerns with the legislation as it was drafted and its impact on everyday Australians. That was our concern, and that's what we took to the floor of Parliament.
Finally, I've had senior figures in the government raise their eyebrows, in simple terms, when they see the meeting between Hastie and Taylor ahead of a funeral. The optics of that, what do you make of it?
Well, we could run through the Labor Party's rap sheet of inappropriate meeting rooms over the decades. I think what the Labor Party should be much more concerned about is the fact that their inability to get their spending profile under control, despite warnings from the IMF, despite warnings from the rating agencies, is meaning that rates are going to go up for mortgage holders and inflation is going to drive up the costs of groceries, energy and other bills across our economy. That's a problem. And Kieran, this government thinks he's running an SRC at Sydney University instead of actually focusing on doing the things that governments do, making the unpopular, tough decisions on budgets that mean we don't end up in the situation that our economy is facing today. That's what the Labor Party should be looking at, taking responsibility instead of cheap shots at the Liberal Party.
Thanks, as always. And the other thing, you said you're always representing your community, but you always show up, even in the difficult times. So I very much appreciate that. I know our viewers do too. Thanks.
Thanks, mate.